So thanks so much for coming to the training and for offering to volunteer for the high school ethics or for the middle school ethics bowl. Oh, yeah, could you go? Thank you. All right, so now we're recording. Thank you so much for volunteering to be a moderator for the middle school ethics bowl this year. This training is to kind of give us a sense of what the structure is going to look like, what your roles are. And then at the end of this training, you'll be receiving an email with all the links of the information that we're going to cover. But at any point, if you have questions, please stop me and I'm happy to answer them. So I'm going to review what the competition looks like this year. It's different than the high school bowl. If you participate in the high school bowl, we're going to review the moderator script and what it looks like for you to follow that script. And then we're going to talk about how you're going to be expected to navigate Zoom and the Zoom logistics. And then for those of us who have the time, I would like for people to practice the different elements of the Zoom logistics so that they run smoothly on the day of the event. Okay, so the entire event is going to be done over Zoom, and there's going to be 16 teams this year. So there are 8 rounds or matches happening in each round, and the scoring is going to be done electronically in Excel sheets. So this means that you're going to be asking your judges for their final scores at the end of each match that you're a part of. The website looks like this. We're going to send you the link and the password. So the day of the event, I would suggest that you do it before the day of the event. You're going to log in and you're going to see all the information that you need. So there's going to be the overview of the schedule for the day, including the YouTube links for our opening remarks. Those are kind of just watch on your own. And then the match link here, if you press this, go to match link scoring. At the bottom of the page is going to have all of the assignments. So you as a moderator, generally you're going to be assigned to the same match room. We've tried to make it so that if you were in room A for the first round, you're in room A for the second round and the third round. And the room A is a link, which will have a link that the participants, the judges, as well as the teams and the observers are going to click. You are not going to use this link to join the Zoom meeting because you're going to have to log into the Zoom account as the host. So it is there in case anybody asks you for it, but you're going to have a separate list. Okay. So the match structure this year, each match is separated into 2 halves like the high school bowl. However, there are some alterations this year. So you're going to introduce the judges, moderators, and the teams. The observers are not introducing themselves just for the sake of time. After you do introductions, you're going to flip a coin. The winner of the coin toss gets to choose whether they want to present first and be team A or present second and be team B. And then they're going to present on the case for 5 minutes. Before they present on the case, all the teams, including the judges, are going into Zoom breakout rooms. So you're going to be expected to navigate breakout rooms, as well as the time changing for those breakout rooms. So if you look at the structure here, you'll see sometimes the conferral period's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 3 minutes, sometimes it's 2 minutes. So I'm going to walk you through how to change those settings on Zoom. After the team presents on the case, then everybody goes back into conferral rooms to prepare for the open dialogue. So this is different from the high school bowl. The open dialogue is between both of the teams. There's no response to questions. Instead, it's a 10-minute conversation in which the teams are responsible for navigating who's speaking. So you're going to just sit back and watch the time, right, as a timekeeper and give warnings. Then at the end of the open dialogue, the judges have 10 minutes to ask the presenting team questions, and only the presenting team. After that, the teams go back into conferral periods for 2 minutes because the non-presenting team, so in the first half of the match, team B, is going to be responsible for answering a final question, which is in your moderator script, but essentially it's like, what is the best ethical issue you heard the other team come up with? And it's our hopes that this new twist on the structure helps team B stay engaged even when they're not answering the judges' questions. They're supposed to be actively listening. So that's the first half, and then you repeat the same thing in the second half, and at the end of the second half, you will be collecting the winners for each judge and then making the announcement verbally in the Zoom match itself. So we're going to send you the link to the script, but essentially as you get ready for the event, we would suggest that you print out the following things. I would print out the script so that you don't have to have your script open on your computer and the Zoom at the same time. That you have some type of timer, whether that's on your computer or on your phone, because you will be expected to time the different portions of the round match and to make sure that they're even across. And you'll be giving warnings in the Zoom chat to the teams. And if the teams request, you'll also give verbal reminders. You're going to need a coin for the coin toss at the beginning of each match. And you're going to need these Zoom login credentials. So this is if you're in match A, if you're in room A, for example, you're going to open up this document and look for room A, and you're going to use that username and password to log into a Zoom account, and then you'll see your Zoom event. You're also going to need, and I would suggest printing them out, but you could also have them open on your computer so you can copy and paste them quickly, the case pairings and the case questions. So for each round, there are 2 cases. Team A presents on the first case, Team B presents on the second case, and there's a question that each team is responsible for answering. And you'll be reading that question out loud. So you're going to want to have that document in front of you. And then you're going to also be typing that question in the Zoom chat so that everybody can clearly, see it. And I find that when I moderate, it's easier if I just copy and paste it from the document than to spend the time typing it out in the Zoom chat. And then you're also going to have a unique match list. So the match list is going to look something like this, where it's going to have your name as the moderator and all the people that have permission to be in the match room with you in the Zoom room. So it's essentially, if you see anybody in the match room that is not on your attendance list for the round that you were assigned, you're going to kindly ask them to leave. And you can tell them to leave and join the help desk that I, as the organizer, will be supporting. And if it's okay, then I'll send them back to you. But we've asked, because of the fact that there are youth competing in this competition, that we have pre-registration only. Zooms are not open to families unless they're on pre-approved lists. So you're going to want to have this, whether it's printed or just on your computer, up at the beginning of each match to make sure that the people are there that need to be there. Most importantly, you're going to want to make sure that all 3 of your judges are there. I'll be sharing you my cell phone number so you can text me if any of the judges do not show up, so that we can find where they are, or we will send you a replacement judge for your round. So that should be your first priority, making sure that your 3 judges are there. And then after that, you can rely, hopefully, on the coach for each team to tell you whether all the students that need to attend for that round are present. Each team needs a minimum of 3 students for a round to run. So even you'll see that there's maybe more than 3 students on each team, but they only need 3 to begin. And then you'll see a list of observers for the teams that are having observers sent. Okay, so you're going to do the following with the Zoom logistics. So you're going to use the login to physically log into Zoom. So you're going to go to zoom.us and log in using the username and password provided, and then find the My Meetings portion of that Zoom account and open up the match round that you were assigned. And then you're going to rename yourself. We really would like you to be there about 5 minutes before the match begins so that you can make sure that the following things are set up so that the rounds stay on time. It's really important that we try. Thanks, Miranda. Yes, there is a maximum number of students that can be active in any one round. So each team can have 7 students attending a match, where 2 of those students are alternates who are not actively engaged in the round, but are there to substitute in the case that one of their teammates has a tech issues. So that's 5. It needs to have 3 to 5 students who are actively engaging in the match itself, with up to 2 students who are kind of in observer mode and would only be subbed in if you have to pause the round for any technology issues. And the coaches know, so if a student's having problems, you pause your timer and you say, can we figure this out? If they can't figure it out, then the coach knows that they have the opportunity to sub in their alternate, and you make that replacement.
Excuse me, actually, so if you have those 2 alternates, are they allowed to come into the conference rooms or no?
No, they are not. They stay in the main room with you. So the alternates are not allowed to engage like team members. They're more in observer mode. Everybody's expected to have their videos on if their bandwidth and connectivity allows. And everybody is expected to rename themselves using the naming conventions, as well as stay on mute unless they're speaking to. So part of the reason why you would want to have this match list, right, is because you're going to be required to build manually the Zoom breakout rooms to make sure that the right people go in the right spots. And if the team has an alternate, that you're not sending them into the breakout room, because that would be a violation of the event rules. So as soon as you join the match, and hopefully you can get there 5 minutes or so beforehand, you rename yourself, and we're going to ask everyone to only use their preferred first name just for privacy issues. We're working with youth, kind of like how we work at Kent Place, right? It's always your first name and last initial, not your full last name. So first name and then the role you have. So for you, it would be first name and moderator. For the teams, it would be, you know, Sarah, Kent Place 1. They might abbreviate it, KPS1 / team member. And if they're an alternate, they'll write alternate. Then you're going to create your breakout rooms. So when you're opening up your breakout rooms, there's a little wheel where you can create settings. You're going to make sure that it's in manually create 3 breakout rooms. And then the wheel settings, you want to make sure that it's auto close after the first one is 5 minutes. So auto close after 5 minutes, and then auto move all participants. And as the people get into the Zoom room with you for the beginning of your match, you're going to start in each one of the breakout rooms moving people. And you'll have a big chunk of people that stay in the main session who are left unassigned because they're not going into the breakout rooms. The different breakout rooms you can name team Kent Place 1, team Dwight Inglewood 2, whatever, as well as judges. So only the 3 to 5 team members plus the 3 judges are moving into breakout rooms. And you need to remember, and this is where I think practicing might help, that you can recreate the breakout rooms, but you always need to make sure that the timing setting is correct, because it's 5 minutes for the first breakout room, 3 minutes for the second breakout room, and then 2 minutes for the last breakout room. So it goes in like sequential order going down. Before you begin the round, you can welcome everyone, make sure they are renaming themselves. So if they're an observer, they would be, you know, John, Kent Place 1 observer, or whatever. And to remind them that to have their videos on unless it's a connectivity problem, and to make sure they're muted unless they are speaking. Okay. So I think that's about it. This is the document, the moderator script that you're going to get that you can print out. The top are the things that you should be doing before the round begins. And then the round is separated into different things. So the bolded parts are like the things that you're doing or other people are doing. And the non-bolded parts are the actual script that you would read. So you'd say, welcome to the first round of the New Jersey Middle School Ethics Bowl. This match is between Kent Place 1 and Dwight Inglewood 2. I'd like to thank our judges, yada, yada, yada. So I'd recommend that you read through this and make sure that you feel comfortable with reading the different parts. Some people like to print a different script for each round and kind of fill things in. You're not going to know who team A or team B is until you do the coin toss. And I think that's about it. The only other big thing is that you're going to be responsible for enforcing the virtual rules. So we're going to send an email that has the virtual expectations, essentially just these things about alternates and Zoom and how people log in and log out. But if at any point during a round there's a question around like the logistics or the rules, right? Sometimes a coach might say, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to go. If you don't think you can answer that question, you can always call me in and I can hop in on the Zoom call and try to mediate the problem. If people are having tech problems, you know, the students can choose to opt out of the round and kind of just go silent for the round or have a substitute come in. If an entire school loses connectivity, then of course that would be an emergency and you would pause the timer and call me in to see if we can troubleshoot. Otherwise, we might have to postpone the match for a later date. Each round should take around 75 minutes, but we have allocated 90 minutes for the round so that you have time to set up and problem solve any type of tech problems. The judges are going to be using an Excel score sheet, and this is in the moderator script. Essentially, we want the teams that the judges vote for to be anonymous. Like, we don't want to know that judge 1 voted for, you know, a particular team. So you're going to be collecting the judges' votes using private chat. So at the end of the script is going to prompt you to chat each one of the judges privately and say, all right, you know, Sarah, who are you voting for? And for each judge, and then you're going to tally it. So the way the scores work is the judges are scoring based on points this year, and the team that hits the most points gets their vote, and each judge gets 1 vote. If a judge scores the same team with the same numbers, so let's say they do 25 and 25 and it's an even split, then that judge splits their vote in half. So half of their vote goes to one team, half of their vote goes to another team. So on a rare occasion that Judge A votes for Team A, Judge B votes for Team B, and Judge C splits their votes, the round can be a tie because it would be 1.5 votes versus 1.5 votes. Doesn't happen very often, but it is possible. It's more likely that you'll get like a 2.5 versus 0.5 or a 2 versus 1 or a 3-0. So you're going to get their votes in the chat, and then you're going to just make sure that you have the Team A and Team B correct, and then you'll announce the winner without saying what judge voted for which team. I, on the back end, have access to all the scoring, so I'll be collecting that myself. There's no need to report back to me for your announcements. Okay, so I think that's about it. I was going to suggest, but I think for the sake of time, that you try to find friends to do this with, and I'm happy for it to be other people who are not moderating. The Zoom links are active and can be used whenever, so you can practice around with the breakout rooms. But I had imagined that 3 people would log into one of the Zoom match hosts, and you would practice renaming people, moving people, and private chatting to collect the votes. And if you have issues or questions between now and the event, you can call me, email me, or text me. So that's all I have. I think I tried to cover everything, but is there anything that you still have questions about? Yes, Anna.
Coin toss, can we use like a virtual coin toss?
Yeah, you could use a virtual coin toss. That's a cool idea. Nobody's gonna like physically see you do a coin toss. So, and the team that you ask to like make the call is up to you. So just do it randomly, right? Any other questions?
I'm a little late, so where can I go to see the recording just to refresh before the round?
Yeah, so we're gonna send out the recording in an email after I process it and put it up on YouTube.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, along with all the links and stuff as well. Any other questions?
So the links for the sheet where we can tell who's supposed to be in the round and the Zoom links, those will be coming out soon.
Yeah, so that will be in the email with the recording. So it will be a link to the sheet that has the login credentials, which is all in one place. And then it will be a folder link for the participants list. And you'll just need to find the round and the match number that you're part of. We didn't put people's names on it. So let me show you, for example. Like for this one, it's in a folder, which we're going to give you access to, but it says round 3 match B. So you're going to want to look your moderator name here. So if you're in round 3 and you're in room B, this moderator would be using this attendance sheet, essentially. That way we can update it in case a coach has last-minute changes. Any other questions?
And also just to clarify, the login sheets where we can log into the Zoom and practice will be coming out in that email as well.
Yeah, I just don't want to share my screen because I don't want people to be able to access that. So yes, you'll get that in an email today.
Okay, thank you.
So I would recommend that you log into that Zoom account to make sure it works. And please practice the breakout rooms. So I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle that I've seen in previous events. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for your time, and feel free to reach out between now and Saturday if you do think of anything, okay? All right, bye everyone.